Because we've established the whistle's not.
Could have had a bit of a rhyme there, couldn't you?
We're not about rhymes on this show. That's not what we do.
You just did one last week to open the show.
I'm a changed man. What can I say? Anyway, so this is the fourth in the series, the final part of the series. They probably couldn't make any more after this.
They've said they'll open the spin-offs.
They'll find a way. They always find a way.
Life finds a way.
J-Lo won't be back, but J-Lo won't be back. But
if you hadn't guessed by now, it's taken over the world. It's taken Spectre's crown, probably. This is The Hunger Games Mockingjay - Part 2. Too much punctuation for my liking, I've got to say.
But so you know what The Hunger Games are by now.
But if people don't know what The Hunger Games are by now,
yeah, well that's a fair point. But I mean, you've just missed out on probably the biggest young adult novel phenomenon ever. Probably. I mean, and you can't really count Harry Potter as a young adult. So I would say definitely Hunger Games is by far the biggest phenomenon that has occurred in that genre. And now it's obviously been transcribed into a massively popular movie series, and it's made a lot of money. It's made chunks and chunks and chunks and chunks of money. So basically, if you don't know what the story is, it's Jennifer Lawrence playing Katniss Everdeen, who is a woman who, she started as a girl. She started as a girl who lives in a district where it's basically a post-apocalyptic North America called Panem, where there are 12 districts which each do different sort of materials like coal and wood and water, etc. And she is living in District 12, which is the most run-down one, which is where all the coal comes from, and basically gets signed up for the Hunger Games, which are a thing to keep the residents in line by putting chosen children into a game of death, life and death.
Like a sacrifice.
Like a sacrifice, essentially, so that the residents will keep in line and not rebel against the state, which is tyrannical, of course. And that's been the overall story arc for the whole series, and it's led up to this point, the explosive finale, which was obviously marred by the tragic death of, Philip Seymour Hoffman, which was very sad. And sadly, the first thing I can say is that there is a scene in this film where you do feel his absence, because it was clearly meant. This is a monologue which was clearly meant for him, and it has to be done by Woody Harrelson instead, which is a shame. However, the movie itself, it's good. It's a satisfying conclusion.
You've read the first book.
I read the first book, just the first.
We obviously don't know what the ending of the books are.
No.
I suppose we could go and have a look after this. And
yes, that's true.
Certainly no spoilers in this review, but I think maybe next week we'll do a spoiler one on the podcast.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Same with Spectre. We haven't really spoken about Spectre spoilers.
Yeah, and obviously to get into our Spectre thoughts deeply, we do need to talk spoilers, so that'll be next week. But definitely, I've read the first one. It was enjoyable, and I guess. Has it stuck to the books? You tell us, people. I mean,
if anybody has actually read the books and has seen all the films, please get in touch, and we may dip into your opinion for next week.
Yeah,
so please get in touch at LRJ Film Show on Twitter, please.
So essentially, this time we are wrapping up the whole story. The whole of the nation is in complete war. They're all going at each other. The rebels versus the state, led by President Snow, Donald Sutherland, of course, legendary actor, and Jennifer Lawrence now back fighting as the Mockingjay. She is the martyr. She is the symbol of the revolution. So she has to basically inspire all of the troops who are weather battered and war torn against the horrible reign of tyranny. And she is an effective actress. She is an action hero. She's a very, very effective action hero, and she can clearly hold her own. And we were having a conversation about this. The fact that would she capitalise on the fact that she is the most famous star probably of this sort of age range of the 18 to 25s in the world right now when it comes to movies, will she continue her interesting choices a la Silver Linings Playbook and Joy, obviously,
and Joy, which is coming up? I think she's better off doing the interesting things. She's done the adult the young adult series now. I think she's earning her chops as an actual actress now. And so, she's an Academy Award nominated and winning actress. Yeah. That's what she should be. I think pursuing.
That's good. But she's leading the charge again. The whole gang's back. Obviously, Peter, with Josh Hutcherson's character, was brainwashed in the cliffhanger of the last installment. Spoiler if you haven't seen that, but you really should have by now. And obviously, that's an overhanging story arc of this story. So that's got to deal with that while they're leading the war. But it's Jennifer Lawrence's film. She completely takes everything. She takes the cake of the whole story. She is a very, very effective action hero, and she's got the grit. She's got the drama. You can really see it. She's got the full range of emotion. And while there are some, the story itself, you get behind. Obviously, it's been built up over the movies, and while I wasn't totally enamoured with part one because I did think it was a bit slow, but the way you've explained it on the way to record the show, that it is sort of two sides of a story. You've got the more politically charged side and then the more action charged. Right, we're going to war now this time. You really do get to feel all of that, and you really do feel the consequences. And the last half an hour, it's so hard to say what my favourite parts are without completely spoiling it, and that's what we're going to have to do, the podcast thing for the spoilery parts. But as an effective conclusion to this series, it works because you get satisfying emotional conclusion, you get satisfying sort of character arc wrap-ups that you need, and I'm not going to go any further than that because you really do. There are some stunning scenes in the last half an hour that are really, really, really good. But for me, the story does take time to get going. It takes about half an hour to 40 minutes to get going.
As I said, it still feels like Mockingjay Part 1 until about
exactly
45 minutes
and for a film that is over 2 hours, that's a bit unforgivable, especially when it's your last sort of grandstand of the big series that you've been building 4 movies up till, when the whole cast is great. Obviously, Liam Hemsworth's back as the other person vying for Katniss's attention. He's good. Though Natalie Dormer's back in a brief role. Woody Harrelson's great. And obviously, for the small role that Philip Seymour Hoffman does, he's still effective. And Julianne Moore as well, obviously, from the first one. She's very good. But really, it is Jennifer Lawrence's character's story, and you really do feel like this is, like, you understand everything that is going on, and you really do get the full weight of the decision. Elizabeth Banks isn't in it that much.
No, but she adds so much to everything she does.
Yeah, I know, but
she's wonderful.
You really do feel the weight of the stuff that she's in. But I think as a satisfying conclusion to the story, fans will be satisfied. I mean, I can't even say it, but fans of the movies will be satisfied. Whether the fans of the books will be, I don't know. But as a slight fan of the movies, I was satisfied by this because it is very, very grim and very, very bleak.
I mean, certainly one scene left.
I'm dancing around this so much because it is so dark and really downbeat for a film that is essentially. I mean, it's a 12-year, but it feels heavier than that.
Yeah.
There are some really striking iconography in there, some really horrid imagery, and it's really, really, you really do get the full weight of the war that is going on. And I think effectively you do understand the whole weight of that decisions that are going on and the whole back and forth war that's going on. And it really is just a vehicle for Jennifer Lawrence essentially because she steals the show in the parts she's in.
If you've seen it or are planning to see it, do get in touch with us. Tell us what you thought. Send us spoilers and non-spoilers, and we'll sift through them and discuss them next week. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, I haven't even seen the first one.
No.
So there you go.
The second one's the best for me. I think the second one's by far the best.
I think I
Catch and Fire is definitely the best.
Certainly the first one sparked my interest.
But yeah, honestly, the tone. It's like I said, I cannot stress enough how bleak and grim it is, but it fits. You know, it's satisfying. You know, throughout the whole film, there's consequences, and that's what's important. Because a lot of these films just don't have consequences.
It's bringing political issues to a young audience.
Absolutely,
as well,
yeah. So in a sense, it's important filmmaking for a young audience. You know, because it gets them sort of the stepping stone to bigger ideas and grander concepts. You know, so that's always a good thing.
Mockingjay Part 2 is in cinemas.